Do I look like a scary war god to you?
What?
Wait, what?
Oh, you look very scary.
Good.
You look
That's
like
exactly
something straight out of Sumigami.
Me, Augustus.
Yeah, you look like a real
Augustus?
troublemaker. That's the face of a troublemaker.
Good.
I was like doing an intro, but then I was like, I didn't prepare. This fails, so let's just go back.
X's stream is on. Stream will start soon. Maximilian's.
Oh my god. Hang on, I'm gonna message him.
No, but Max just mutes himself instead, and deafens himself instead of just turning off desktop audio. So.
We can't message him because he has streamer mode on, meaning the notification won't pop up.
Max! What if I just spam his chat with wide videos?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know why.
That will get his attention.
It does that every
bro, you
time
started
I
where you
have
are.
a microphone source and it
Yo,
deletes.
we need you to get back in the
Hi.
room.
Hi,
Where you
Toby.
at?
Hi Theo, hi Matt.
I'm
Actually,
gonna
not
open
hi
everybody's
Theo.
streams and then close it because that would be cheating. Or to minimize
I
it.
can't think while everyone's talking. Oh, my guys, thank you for the tier 1! Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay,
Oh, I
we're
see.
waiting
Say,
on
I'm in
Max
the
right
chat.
now.
Should I say something or should I not be like?
Among Us.
Among
Bogus.
Us.
Yeah,
Among
Us.
Us.
you've,
Okay, yeah,
you've
hang on.
said hi to Theo already. I know I did. Anyway, hi, we're waiting on Max, right?
Yes,
Suspicious bloke in it.
Hello?
it's still on stream. We'll start soon. So I'll be
Everyone
like,
go
I
I
think
told him
Max
not
is
to do
bad.
this.
I think that Max is being pretty sus.
Yeah,
I
think
is.
he's the
We should take
imposter.
him.
Alright, so.
Are you like typing a goddamn paragraph in his stream chat or something?
Wait, who
no, I
is?
was me. I was like,
Maximilian
no.
Ockenbolt, join the
Miss-
Among Us group. Get
Okay,
in
I have a challenge
room.
for Kai. Only speak in that voice the entire stream.
Oh God!
I'm
Don't,
going.
because you'll like.
I'm
And
gonna
then
insult
Max
the
can
shit out of
only
Hoodie
speak
Max.
in his American accent.
That's
We're
all.
mixing. We're missing 2 people.
I
What
kind of ran out of
the
time.
fuck else is missing?
Check it now. Sorry, man.
Fedis.
Yeah.
Where are you?
You're not.
Oh
in...
wait, oh shit.
We need Max so we can
We need to go.
properly do introductions, or we can do intros now and then.
Okay, so what are the bets that we're gonna be kicked out of this room as well?
Yeah, this line's
because-
on time
Yeah, we
out.
probably are. It's fine though.
Alright, that is.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay,
I'm late. Sorry.
let's do introductions of everyone while we wait for Max.
Okay, let's make it clear in the circle. Let's go all out of the circle and then one for one we go in.
Wait, let's
to
do
introduce.
rainbow order.
Ready?
What's the rainbow order?
I don't
Where
know
do
where
you
purple goes.
Wilson, your pink
rainbow.
is not in the
Yeah,
rainbow, so I
yeah.
guess I'm
So not in the rainbow.
Which is also not in the rainbow, nor is black, so,
How about we go Discord order?
I don't think we can really do rainbow order.
How about
Okay.
we can just kind of sit in like the back, and then like anyone that's speaking can come up here, and then just go in Discord order, like from the top down.
Oh, I
Oh, yeah,
need
that-
Discord open for that.
up to the top.
There we go. Right.
There he is.
There we
Welcome.
go.
Finally.
Hi.
Here we go,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay, Theo, you go first.
I go first. Okay, I'm Theo or Moss. I'm a little bitch ass bastard.
okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Pushy, pushy, pushy.
Sorry.
I mean, what else do you want me to say? I
I know,
stream
it's
games, I
fine.
stream RPGs and challenges, but there's not much else to say. I'm just a little bastard boy.
Okay, next is Augustus.
Hello, I am Augustus. I am a demigod and mythos hunter. And thank you so much for inviting me along for this sussy adventure.
Sussy fuck.
Wow.
Elfie!
Hello, I am Elfie, and I am just a little creature, and I cannot change this.
Why are you,
Wait, Elfie,
why are you talking
are you,
like that?
are you
We'll put on accents.
Bad.
Wait, guys, hold
Oh
on.
wait,
Is
are we allowed
Elfie-
to do
is-
accents?
Is
that
Elfie the
No.
crew member?
Is that what's
The
happening?
creature on top
I'm
of the crew
German. I'm
member?
always having an accent. I'm always having
Okay,
an accent.
Fedis. It's time for Fedis.
Hello, I'm Fedes. Everybody calls me Fedes, but it's Fedes. I do Minecraft hardcore and stuff. And yeah, again, well, yeah, thank you for inviting me to this collab.
Yeah. Who's
And I'm
I'm just
gonna hide
call you
because I'm
Block
shy.
Boy now.
Good.
I have a blockhead, but shh.
Oh, is it my turn? Okay. Howdy, partner. My name is.
That actually
Okay, my
wasn't
name's
bad. It just wasn't a southern accent.
No, I can't do a southern accent. You hear mine. Anyway, my name's Hood. I'm a slime. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And I don't. And I my thank you. Okay, there we go. Move on.
Okay, Kai.
Hello, I'm Katori Kai. I don't actually have this accent. I'm a penguin VTuber. I do art, and I'm a self-made penguin. So yeah, good to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Lily. Appreciate
No problem. Max.
Oh, here we go. Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Maximilian Archambault, former battler turned VTuber, and I am a variety streamer. If you'd like to see something you haven't seen before, then there's a good chance you'll find it in my streams, and I'm very glad to be here.
It's only Armored Core, nothing else. And fan.
And his British accent's real, guys.
Quote unquote variety streamer.
Kai, when you say it like that, it makes me doubt.
Imagine if I called myself a variety streamer and all I do is play fucking Fire Emblem challenges.
We all be variety streamers in one way or another.
Yeah, okay.
Variety streamer, depending on what my PC wants to run on that day.
Yeah, I'm Pyro Lily. I'm a Pyroraptor. I'm a variety streamer.
Woo!
I do game dev and language streams and cozy video games, except this one.
What? This is the coziest video game.
I love yelling at my friends.
Don't give a
Okay.
shit.
Alright, we don't have time for corn, so let's go.
My Corin.
It's okay,
Well-
nobody needs to know about the basement yet anyways.
More
I
cow, nobody needs to
kinda wanna
know
know.
about my love for cactus.
So, anyways,
That was awful.
gamers,
Business.
Okay, wait,
I'll
that
be
was
playing
it?
Among Us.
Let's get it. Let's get it before
Okay,
we
okay,
we
okay,
come
we're
out.
gonna go, we're gonna go.
Hit it.
The room's gonna close.
Yeah, you need to hit it.
Plus, up
We're
is Among Us.
going!
Among Us, if you will.
Okay, we're good now. Thank God I'm a crewmate. I hate being the
everyone.
imposter. You help set me back up? Okay, admin. Iko, let's go! I see Theo. I wonder if Theo is gonna kill me. That's... Theo did not kill me, because Max is there. Oh, okay.
Why
Oh,
did someone
alrighty.
already kill Elfie?
Alrighty.
That was quick. Holy shit.
So,
Right,
okay,
yeah.
so... Wait. Max, I just saw you. Wasn't Theo there too?
I don't know. All I know is I went the wrong way because I didn't realize all of my tasks are in electrical, pretty much. So I accidentally went.
Yeah, that's.
I went to the front. I went to the front end of the ship by accident, so I took the long way to electrical. I walked past Moss, and then went into electrical, and Elfie is already dead there.
Listen,
My God.
I was handling tasks near admin. I didn't
So many
walk anywhere
people.
near electrical, or
Yes.
not in electrical.
No, what I mean is I passed you in the storage in the
Yeah,
storage
yeah.
hangar.
I saw Lily hanging out around there, but I didn't see her going to electrical at all.
I found
No.
her in communications.
Yeah.
I was exploring the right side because I saw somebody go to the right side of the map, but I didn't know who it was. Who went to the right side? 'Cause almost everyone else went down.
I
It
went
was
right.
probably
right?
me, and I went up to where the trash chute is next to the next to that.
Oxygen?
Oxygen, I think.
Oxygen?
Yes, oxygen.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's in the cafeteria still.
So
Oh,
Max, you
I
went.
yeah.
went up around there and up to where the
Weapon.
trash chute is.
Mm.
And I did see Kai go down beneath me towards weapons, and then since I was doing download, I didn't see anything past that.
So you where did you go, Corin?
So I went immediately up towards the trash chute in the cafeteria,
Oh.
and then
Wait,
went straight from there to
where were-
weapons.
Augustus,
Yeah, because
why did you
I
already
let you.
skip?
No, yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I did see somebody go up there. I guess it was you, and then Max. You also said you went up and right, or no?
Well, we started in cafeteria. I went to weapons right, then down past nav, through shields, through the cargo hold into electrical.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured then. Yeah, and then
Wait,
Corn was also up there.
Augustus, why did you skip when we had like a
Because
minute left?
Well, because I don't want it to run timeout, and there sounds like there's 0 actual deduction.
There's
we
10
can
seconds
pull
left
from
anyways,
those.
yeah.
I have no idea where Hood and Fettus were, so.
I went down through ammunition and I went. Okay.
Oh, we don't have anonymous voting on it either.
Oh shit, yeah, true.
Maybe
We'll
we
turn that on
should-
next round.
for
Next round.
next round.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Never
Alright.
was ejected. Ha.
Oh yeah, Theo's gonna murder everyone. Let's go to navigation. Corn and Fettus. I forgot that there are 2 imposters now. I'm gonna die. Probably Fettus. I mean, he could have killed me. Didn't. I'm really bad at these tasks. Go down to shields. So I just saw Fettus and Corn again. Is he gonna follow me? Okay. And right. Hi. Yeah. Because this is an Among Us collab, I'm probably not gonna make everyone do the stuff. Oh, that's an electrical lights. Oof, I hope I don't die. That's moss. Oh, I need to go up there. Oh, shit.
Well, someone's been a busy bee.
What? What the hell?
What? Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I just saw Theo and I saw Corn and Fettus a while ago, but I feel like Fettus had a lot of opportunities to kill me. And I saw Corn doing a task.
I saw Hood leave electrical right before the lights went out.
I went.
And I found the body in electrical.
I was fixing
Oh.
the lights and then I went back out.
So
But
where,
that
where
was
was the body in electrical?
Before the lights went out, and you were leaving while the lights were going out.
Oh no! Oh then! Oh no! I was coming down from the reactor place. I was going down. and then across.
Damn, Moss is on the hunt. All right.
I don't know.
So here's the thing. All right. So Hood, what task have you done so far?
I've done one of the venting things. I did a few wires in cafeteria. Then I went on to do a reactor one, and then I went down. So I was going to the other side.
All right. So logically speaking, he's already mentioned 2 short tasks and a long task, so that checks out. Moss, what task have you done so far?
That is sus.
Tasks I've done so far. So in this round, what I was handling was I was continuing to do my wire task. In electrical, I believe I had a redivert power task. And then one of the tasks that I was handling at the moment, when I saw the body through the doorway, I had passed by electrical because I had to do a refueling task where you go to the thing, fill it with fuel, then you go to the engines, put it in, and then you do it again.
Yeah, so that checks out too, because I saw you filling up. That's the reason I was asking to make sure that that's what you were doing
And
instead of
also
just standing
yes,
there.
I have seen Moss filling up the gas tank.
Yep. So that checks. Pyro, Lily, who did you vote for, and why so quickly?
It's Hood
gotta be Hood.
because
He's
I have played with Moss enough times.
She knows that when I have a hunch, it tends to be pretty good.
Wait. So
Yeah.
what's the ID? Vote on.
It's okay.
Oh.
That's all right. Don't worry.
Oh.
Don't worry.
It's fine.
I'm 100% certain that Hood's an imposter.
Milk! Okay, we're gonna... Here? Okay, let's do the other one. I don't really know where... Oh, okay, we're good. God, we're all gonna die. Oh, I did all my tasks.
What? Huh? Why?
Why?
Huh?
Yes. So I'm done with my task. We know that there's only one imposter left right now because if there was two, we would already be dead right now.
Yeah.
So I'm done with my task. That means that I can follow someone around. We are close enough right now, since we only have one imposter left, that as long as we all buckle down and get our task done, we should be able to win. I was doing upload in admin when Moss and Corn came in. Corn hung around for a second before he went over there.
We were handling the meltdown.
Thank you.
No, the O2. It was O2.
Oxygen issue.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I saw you two run in. Corn came in first. He kind of like hovered around a bit before going to do the O2. Which I'm assuming because he probably didn't trust me. I was just standing there. Makes sense. Follow that.
You were standing there on the upload thing, and I was like, why aren't you going?
We saw two other people, so I just ran at it.
Yeah, no, and I already started the upload, so that's why I didn't go immediately to it. But Fedez or Lily, which of you two took care of the O2 up top?
I did
I did. I went there and I dived in the codes.
I did it. I definitely did it. So.
But you're both there, right?
No, I didn't see Lily.
I didn't see anyone else.
I didn't see anyone.
How many O2 things were they? 2 or 3? 2,
and I saw Lily later. I worked.
There are 2. Yeah, I did one, and I didn't see anyone else.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. All right, so
I think it's.
And I know it's not Lily because she would have like outed herself pretty quickly.
Shut up.
So
rude.
Okay, you say that. I actually am going to contest that statement due to the fact that I saw Lily coming from electrical when all of that was said and done.
Yeah, because I went to electrical afterwards.
Who has tasks left?
I don't.
We're running out of time.
I have tasks left.
I do.
I think it's Fedez.
Two of us.
I think Fedez might be the imposter. I'm gonna be honest.
No, but
So,
I literally
I'm
did
gonna
the thing.
Moss, I'm gonna follow you since you still have tasks left.
Yeah, follow me around, and if one of us dies, then that's proof that one of us was an imposter.
Yep, there we go.
Or I die, and you know.
Okay, I think I just saw. I think I just saw Quern vent or something. I don't really know. Did you guys see that? That was weird. I wonder if I should. I think the game just maybe glitched out.
Corn's dead.
Oh, then it has to be Fedus.
It has to be Fedus.
It has to
Why?
be Fedus, yeah.
Because as soon as I leave Corn, he's dead.
Yep.
So.
Listen,
Although
I
I want to say, wait. Before
this was on my the whole time.
I want to say that next time we cannot do the tag teaming because it makes it impossible for the imposter to win.
Yeah, okay. You guys were together, so I confess I was the second imposter.
I mean, tag teaming doesn't make it impossible if you
It doesn't
Yeah,
make it impossible
for
but
the
for
tag
people
team
who
and then get the
aren't-
tag team without anyone catching on.
Yeah.
But I only killed one, and that was Corn.
I mean, tag teaming is like a legitimate strategy.
Wait.
That's not, yeah.
Wait. Hold on. So who's
Oh, wait,
the
whoops.
other one?
Me.
Okay, so we were right. We were
It was in
right.
fact Hood.
Yeah, it was Hood. You guys were right.
I was
Also-
enjoying just floating around, fucking with you, Lily, as I closed the doors behind and in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The cafeteria, and then it's just like the door closes, and I'm like, "Excuse me."
Dude,
I
I
was
gotta-
wondering. I just wanted to call an emergency meeting. That was so mean.
Dude, I got a heart attack when Augustus was like talking to Hood and like interrogating him, and then it was like, "Oh, that story checks out," and I'm like, and
I'm gonna
I voted for
like,
him still.
you
I
asked
was
me
like,
that
oh, thank
question.
God.
You asked me that question. I wasn't prepared. I was just like, oh shit. So I named the first three off the top of my head and hoped that my
I know
story
that was like that's what I would say if I was guilty.
Yeah, so
Doing the vent, I'm like,
I'm still
Listen, Hood, you'll
confused.
never survive against me. I
Okay,
still
wait,
remember
wait.
the last time we streamed this, and I caught on to you being the imposter because you said a specific room, and I'm like, we didn't mention a specific room.
That
Yeah,
was really
I'm-
funny.
turn on anonymous voting, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Please.
yeah, I'm.
Also, do we want some more tasks?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe more.
hold-
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Anonymous votes on,
Mhm.
and then common tasks, short
Max.
tasks.
Yo,
It'd be like,
Can we
Are
do
you-
short
One more
tasks? I hate the long ones.
You're the
No, Max, I'm
one,
making you blush.
You can just add a number of tasks.
Max. One of your
Yeah.
one of my viewers says that your code is visible. That the
Who?
code is
Amina.
visible.
oh,
It doesn't
go.
really matter. That no, you don't have to hide the code. The room is filled out.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
now
No,
it's
no,
filled, but
yeah,
hide
okay,
it
true.
just in case. Because
Yeah, sorry, I
I'm
didn't
still
realize.
confused, Lily.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did the one in O2. I did that. I can honestly say, even though I was
you
imposter,
can't
I did
do
that.
No.
tasks.
Wait. Okay, so it's the O2
I mean, it
thing.
could
Right?
be
There's
possible
the
because
one
I
in
did
admin.
see some people's characters
Oh,
skip around and was
yeah, I
There's
was
the one in
confused by
admin,
that.
and then there's the one in O2, and
And I was doing the one in O2.
O2.
I was the one doing it in O2. So I was so confused, like, no, there was no one else. How?
Okay. All right. Let's start.
Oh,
yeah. Gamers.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Time
You
to
should check your chat.
Sorry, I have to rush this. Sorry. Ah. Okay. Thank you. I should have not allowed that. Okay, let's go down to admin. Huh? I hate this one so much. That's my like least favorite task. Okay, we're gonna go to communications now. Sometimes fear is appropriate response. Wait, oh, there it is. Download. Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, come on.
Hey, yo, I was trying to download something, boys. Why?
So was I. Come on, y'all.
So
Y'all.
I'd be
Oh
willing
my
to say,
god.
Y'all.
I'd be willing to say we got like 4 people up in electrical.
Yeah.
I was in comms.
I was pretty much like with Corn the whole most of the time, and then I saw Moss and Med too. So like I can, at least for this, I can account for that they have alibis.
haven't-
But
I haven't
Someone
really seen
looked
many
me
people,
up.
though.
Where was the body found?
That's the
Good
real
question. Thank you. So Elfie was lying so innocently before me in the download inside of navigation. So you said that there were 4 people inside of electrical, right? Who
Yeah.
was one of them? Who was one of them? Hood? You said?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
So
Hood,
Hood.
I,
Where-
me, and Moss.
Where did Hood come
I
from?
was
'Cause I know
also
where
there.
Corin
Fedez
and
was
Moss
outside,
came from.
yes.
Wait, did you
Okay.
say?
I got
So-
stuck.
You
I got
mentioned by
stuck
name.
in that room.
So hey Lily, what were you doing?
I was in comms
I can vet for Lily. I can vet
Okay.
for Lily. We were in
Max,
the
where were you?
room together.
I know you went to the right at the start.
Okay, so where was Max?
Yeah, Max.
I was going from the upper engine into cafeteria.
Oh wait.
How did you get to upper engine?
Wait, upper engine. Wait, you went to weapons though, right? Didn't you at first? Because I saw you go up, right?
Yeah, I went down then. So I went all the way
Mhm.
around because I had to go do tasks around shields
just
and then in the.
So,
So you just
hold on a
kinda
second.
Hold on.
You
Wait,
wrapped around.
wait. So wait. If he started out in weapons, then went down and around, who has tasks? Who's done anything in navigation so far?
Not
Anyone?
me.
Which one's
No.
I know
navigation?
you saw me
No, I was
in
an admin.
medical, and when I was in medical, I was getting my scan.
Where was the body
I
again?
think
We
you might have
couldn't
caught that.
gone-
So hold on a second. I'm gonna say right now that I'm sus of Max. We're running out of voting time.
Where was the body? I forgot.
The body was in navigation. So if he came from weapons, went down and around, he could have caught Elfie inside of navigation, killed her, and I was the first person to find the body. So it could have
if you're
been there for a while.
down from weapons to
I'm
there.
just gonna put my suspicions
I'm
on
just
Max.
gonna
By
follow the
navigation.
crowd
Just keep
and
an eye
vote
on
for
Max.
I don't know what.
Oh, never mind. I'm going
Okay.
by.
Yeah, well, I guess we're gonna keep an eye on him immediately. All right. But,
You said it
Wasted
too
no time.
late.
It was
You
not
said
smiting
it
you.
too late.
Well, we'll find out if that was a mistake or not.
I forgot how this task worked. Hold on. Ah. There we go. Comes. Let's go back and hopefully we can do our task this time. We might have to add more tasks, I think. Better not find the body. Be so mad. Okay. 15 short tasks. Yeah. I don't know. 15 short tasks would be funny. Wow. If that door is closed, I have a feeling Max was the imposter. That's like really annoying. Come on. Seriously? Well. Go to electrical. I wonder if it's Quern. Let's go to the reactor. Yeah, I think we need to add more tasks. Maybe we will do 15 short tasks. Really bad at this one. Glad they took care of it. Oh, god damn it! Oh no, it's Moss!
Swear to God, these doors.
Yeah, I
We
know.
went through the doors.
Holy
Fuck
shit.
Oh, wait, okay, so if that means Max was the imposter if he's doing the doors, right?
Well,
No.
Is that like
No,
only a
it could
ghost
just
thing?
be someone randomly tapping.
no, you can
No,
still
you
do it
can
in your
do it.
live.
Oh, okay.
Because I got a door off at the very start. Okay, where was the body?
So I found the body in which is like the room between electrical and the middle room under cafeteria.
Oh, storage.
Admin?
Storage.
Storage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was where the doors got locked up too. I saw Fedez was like trying to get out through the door too,
Trying to go
from in that room.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get in.
Yeah, I went up.
Yeah,
and
where
then
were you
went to
before the
right
door?
Because I was going to O2, and then it was fixed, and I walked back with Moss, and then I want to go to admin, or no, to cafeteria, and then it got locked, and I was waiting, and then yeah, O2 started again, so I went via weapons, and then I saw Korn, and then we tried to go up back to cafeteria.
Where were you before that? Where were you before the doors were closed and you were trying to get out from storage? You were trying to get out of storage. I remember seeing you because I was trying to get in storage.
I'll start
Before
the
that,
timer for Valley Girl,
I was going to O2.
when I have something to
came
say,
from
okay?
engine and went
Came
down
from
to
engine.
O2 because O2 was down. But
What-
it was
Hood-
fixed, and then I went back.
Yeah, Hood, where was the body exactly? Like, what part of the
By
storage?
the door. So
Which door, left or
I
right?
remember whoever was trying to get. So once the doors locked, it was me, Theo, and Kern in the room, and then someone was on the left side of the door, like by electrical. And I
Was the
think-
body on the left side of the storage area?
Yeah, it was basically it looked like someone entered, killed, and left or something.
Yeah,
like that.
because I came in from the right side. I didn't see jack shit on the right and center side, but I never saw that left side. So
I think it's. Oh, this is gonna sound mean, but I think it's a safe vote Fades because.
I'm just suspicious of Fedez at this point, just because
fair.
it's like there's a lot of things matching up for that. But
no, we ran out.
Okay, so
just watch out for him.
Now that the meeting's over, I don't really have anything to say in the meeting, but we're gonna do the Valley Girl accent. I set the timer for 10 minutes accidentally. Oh, come on. That is totes not cool. I would like to go right, please. Ugh. That was completely gross. I guess we're gonna have to go fix the lights now. Oh, are the lights like fixed? I think they are now. Awesome. So we have like one task left. We need to make sure that we avoid Fedez at all costs though, because that would be like really bad. Oh, I got it done. All of my tasks are done. Now let's do some like... Yeah, I set it for 10 minutes, but when it hits the 5-minute mark, I'll just end it. Because we're doing stuff right now. Sorry, but I hope you get accused now just to hear you say the voice. I mean, yeah, maybe. Hopefully I find a dead body or something. I see Kai and Hood. So, like, I don't really know if there's, like, anything to do. Okay, so like I want to say beforehand that my chat redeemed the Valley Girl voice, so I'm like sorry in advance.
Come on, no.
I'm really sorry, but like you know
Doesn't
how
sound
channel
it.
point redeems are. So I was just with Hood and Kai, and then we came up, and then I saw a dead body, and I haven't seen
Where
Fedez.
exactly?
It's
Augustus,
like
where
out,
were you?
like around
Villain cams.
weapons, I
You were in
think.
cams? Okay.
So hold on a second.
Because I remember you went to cams like as soon as lights went out. Yeah, I remember you
Okay.
in there.
So I was on the admin thing, right? So there was someone in cafeteria.
That was
'cause I also-
me, because the door was locked, and I couldn't go that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and all
I
my tasks
remember
are
that
done, so
very
I was
well.
just wandering for, like, dead bodies and stuff. I know, okay.
I'm stuck.
So guys, we have
Stuff.
the bar I'm looking at right now. We have, I'm guessing, 2 people with tasks left. Who has tasks left right now?
Yeah, Ghosts, remember you guys can do tasks too, so...
Yeah. So who has
I
tasks left?
finished, I think.
I finished.
And
Well,
I'm
the safe way to play is just to finish the tasks. So.
Yeah. Because if we vote someone off and it's not the person, we're shorting
It's gonna
ourselves. a survivor.
it'll get a little difficult, yeah. But I think we're in a pretty solid spot right now. I think so.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
just
so
get the
that,
tasks
like-
done. If you guys haven't done your tasks, do them, and we'll be good. I think there's like literally
Okay.
1 or 2 tasks left. We might need more, honestly.
I can't believe I didn't get accused because of my sus accent. I hope I like stay alive though. I wonder if the imposter will kill me just for that accent. Let's see. Oh, the lights are out now. Great. Yay, we won!
Oh, come on! It's so difficult. It's so difficult to
so
communicate with
unfortunate.
with the other imposter. God damn it!
Who was the other imposter?
Damn, imposter twice in a row, dude. Shit.
Oh, I have worse. I have worse.
Max got to kill me. he was trying to fuck with Hood, but then he ended up getting me trapped in a room
Fucking with Hood
Fettis.
exclusively.
And he's
Why are you gaming me?
was an imposter because he was
you
vigorously
killed me last round.
chasing me for the second round.
You know,
Survive.
there were like opportunities where Fettis could have killed me, and then he didn't. And I was like, but then I still was kind of like, I feel like he's like holding out for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I just knew you were. I stuck with you on purpose because I was like waiting for you to kill me.
There were so many opportunities, true, but all the time I saw someone in the corner, like just a little bit outside, but still they could see if I.
Well, that's the
murdered
thing,
someone.
yeah.
So it was like, oh come on, but yeah, I'm gonna
It's like
be
each
a
time I
lot
stuck
of
with you,
imposters.
Each time
Listen,
I stuck with you,
here's
there was
the
always
thing.
someone else with
Wait,
me.
I want to say the Valley Girl accent's officially over. Okay.
Great.
It's the first thing I hear.
I'm surprised no one caught you because I made it very. I was trying to run into other people to make it very clear that you were chasing after me.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunate. All right, we all ready?
Yeah,
I'm
let's go.
ready for another one. That
Let's
was
go.
unfortunate, though. Let's
Please,
pray
no
Elfie doesn't
imposter.
die
Please,
first
no
again.
imposter.
It's ready as
I hope that I'm
Please
the
don't
imposter.
kill Elfie
Honestly,
again,
I don't
fellas.
mind.
First.
Like,
Oh, if you don't mind, then oh shit.
I realized I don't have any rage in me left, so I'm just chill.
No, I don't like being the imposter. Okay, we're gonna go down and then do whatever task I have down here in like storage. And then we're gonna do electrical. I have 2 in here. And hopefully I don't die, because I feel like a lot of people die in electrical. I don't know.
Boy, who already killing people? Holy shit!
Oh, it must be
Where
Theo
was-
then.
Not
Where was the
me.
body?
So it was right outside of navigate, or not actually. That
Yeah.
is navigation. Right?
Yeah, it
From the
was.
ship.
It's
Yeah,
on
Max
the,
was.
in the. I was behind you. It was in the corridor
Yeah.
in navigation. Near navigation.
Moss, really quick, I want to ask
Yeah.
you, because I know you went right. You were doing your task at weapons, and then you went to O2 to do a
I was
task
doing my asteroid task and weapons. I don't know if you actually saw me
No, I
shooting.
saw you doing it, and then I saw.
I was in weapons, and then I went into O2 to take care of a task there. And right when I finished the task, you found a dead body.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna-
somebody walked past me, and then like I finished my task and dead body. I'm like, what? Why? Someone died close to me.
I assume you're probably fine then. In that case, like I
I
don't.
don't know.
First, my
He
gut tells
died
me you're.
really quickly, and Theo's
My
like
gut tells me
really
you're
good.
fine.
Lily, what if you're putting the blame on me because you're an imposter?
Where did okay, who was where? I wanna. I know Max and Moss. I know where they were. Elfie, where were you?
Oh, I was doing the 1, 2, 3 thingy.
The 1, 2, 3. Oh, you were left side. Okay. Bettis, where
He
were
was
you?
busy not dying.
Shield comms.
Shield comms.
Comms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for the sweet
Where was-
release
where's-
of death, but it didn't come.
That's
to me.
Where's shield comms?
To the right, below.
Below right. Is that like communications?
Yeah, you have communication, and to the right of that, you have
Communications
the
and
room
Yeah.
that's called shield.
Hood, what about you?
I was spending most of my time in admin.
Admin?
Hey Lily, where
Uh,
were you?
So I went down
Definitely
to fill
wasn't
up
admin.
gas, and then I went to electrical, and I did 2 tasks in electrical.
Corin, what about you?
I started in storage doing wires, went up to the wires and admin immediately after that. I saw Hood But where they came from, I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I was going. Okay.
Where did they go?
Match, I went at the beginning of the match. I went
Where did they
down
come
and then
from?
just back up
Where
into
did they
admin,
go?
and I just spent my.
Right now, the only person that I can like suss right now is Fedez, and then potentially Moss. But I feel like I can trust Moss. I don't know.
Why
That's my
me
gut.
again?
Just a
Why
little
me
baby.
again?
Don't trust Moss. That's all I have to
That's
say.
it.
Why me again? Come on.
I want to think. I want to trust. Yeah, but those are two sus, I think.
Theo is very sus. Theo is so sus. There we go. What do I have to do next? Communications. Oh. Oh, I hope I don't die. I hope no one dies. I don't like being an imposter, but with another person, I feel like it'd be. Personally. Okay. Here. I can't believe I'm dead. And great.
After like shit, I died.
Oh what?
Right. Okay, someone's got a real fucking hard-on for killing the navigation. Found Pyro Lily like barely meters from where we found Augustus. I have no idea where Kai was dead.
I think Elfie is clean because I was just hanging out with her in electrical and stuff, and
I was struggling.
I don't know when the death happened, but like Hood was kind of on the left side of the ship.
In turn, I can confirm. I don't think Theo is sus because like we were both in electrical, and they had all the time in the world to kill me. And they...
What are the chances it's Fedus again? I
Guys,
swear.
I have a little issue. I have to speak Dutch for 1 minute.
Fine.
Does anyone else speak Dutch?
Niet echt een perfecte tijd
Oh, I know
om
it's
dit te
I
doen.
mean,
playing
I-
Twitch.
Sorry,
I know.
mijn excuus.
And
I have
Elfie
a-
translate.
I know a dialect that is close to Dutch, but
I'm pretty
ja,
sure it's
dit gaat
Fedus. I
niet
mean,
werken.
consider last round when, like, he was near navigation.
Oké, kan, maar ik ben het al 2 keer geweest. Waarom zou ik het nog een 3e keer zijn?
Are you trying to defend yourself?
Ja.
He's trying to say
We're
that
blind to
he's
your pleas.
imposter in Dutch.
But-
It's a little sus that he's
The only
What if
thing
it's
I can
Corin?
again.
say for sure, I was hanging out in
Dit is
Admin.
niet,
I
dit
was
is
with
niet echt
Max
een handig idee, maar
during.
bedankt.
I was with Max during the O2 incident.
Sussy Dutch.
We both were heading up to the other one when that went off, and I went back down into admin to check where the signals were at the non-keycard terminal, and then I went to electrical. Saw Elfie leaving and Moss about to leave,
yeah,
and that's all I got.
I think it's Fedus. I mean, come on,
me
guys.
too.
Why?
Come on.
The
I know I
problem
get
have is
unlucky
we
with
have
it.
2 left somewhere,
Oh, for...
and I'm a little worried about that. Oh,
this hurts.
all right.
This hurts.
Bye.
Hi,
You
Fedez.
were
Just straight up, like it was. So killed me immediately.
Let's go! Shit,
I
Fedez!
hate it. I hate it.
I saw you, Ben. I'm like, oh! I was running for that fucking button, dude, and then you grabbed me, like, got me right as I was about to press it. I knew it.
The thing was, the same goes for Lily. I timed it. I came out of the vent, and then it was like 4 seconds till I could kill. And I was like, fuck. No, and you saw it, Kai. So you ran. And I was like, no.
I instantly saw that. I was like, no, this is not happening.
Oh,
And
so
yeah,
Hood killed me like immediately in the first round, right?
Yeah.
I saw Fedez come up from the bottom. I was like, oh, cool, they're going to report my body, and they're going to catch him. Because he passed Hood after Hood killed me. I was like, oh, cool, he got caught. Immediately walks past my body, goes to a vent, hops in the vent. I'm just like...
Wait.
Bro, I thought Max was sus when he walked by my body. No, he just straight up didn't see my black corpse blending in with the table.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm
but-
gonna cry.
but
Everyone done with your
Lily,
task?
didn't you
I'm
I
see
did.
me
I'm
fan?
done.
Yeah, I'm done. Wow, the people
Alright.
alive really gotta fucking. They gotta get going on their tasks.
I think
So
I
it's
actually
Hood.
think.
So it's Hood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
It's Hood,
It's Hood.
and that's
it's
it.
Hood, man, and me.
But
Again.
Hood has got like Hood's double teamed right now, so unless he like he splits off. No one's sus a Hood at all yet, so
No.
kill.
Corn?
That
Is
guy.
Corn gonna?
Corn might die.
Get some blood? Get some blood?
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Oh no, never mind. He dropped the chase. Okay.
Oh, he's doing my tactic. He's doing my tactic.
Oh, Elfie, no.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
Oh
we
no!
can't do
Oh
that.
no! No!
No,
no,
he's doing my
Wait,
tactic.
Hood's playing passive. Hood's playing passive.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, Hood
are
is
you
playing.
gonna
Oh,
kill-
yeah,
are you
yeah,
gonna,
kill-
Are you gonna
No,
kill
no.
Max? Are you gonna kill?
No, he can't kill. He can't.
He
No,
can't.
there's too many people here.
But
Well,
Kai.
actually, he could have killed Max and then just left, and then like maybe he would come out and be like, "What the fudge?" So I don't know.
And then
And
playing the
you could have
self-report.
yeah, and be like, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
I'm calling it on Moss.
Hi.
Because one, you've been following me around constantly, and two, you were sat on that command to clear the O2 warning for way longer than it ever should have taken to clear it. And had we not run in there to do it ourselves,
We're gonna-
we would have
Sorry.
lost to an
I need
O2.
to charge-
In there,
I'll be
right,
right
at
back.
the same time as you guys, and was finishing
No,
it
you
up.
did
when
not.
got
You were
there.
well ahead of
No,
us.
I could say I can confirm Max that.
Right, fine. But if you vote me off, you'll be wrong because here's the thing: I was hanging out around you because I knew you weren't sus,
There we
and
go.
if I was going to kill you, I would have done it very early on. Because as Lily would note, if she was alive, I'm a quick killer, not a slow one.
Yep. That I can't.
So why did it take you so long to do O2?
Because I had just finished it. I had just finished it when you guys were running in.
But I was still able to even input the command myself.
I'm a slow typer. I'm using a mouse.
No,
not
okay,
like
that's
a
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
phone.
No, sometimes it does take
I'm
me.
using a mouse.
No, sometimes it does take me a while because like the numbers, like it's a bit difficult to copy shit. So.
Look, all I'm saying is
It's
I'm
good, it's
voting
good.
Moss.
All right, but you'd be wrong because again, as Lily would note, I'm a quick killer, not a slow one.
I'm
Right.
I'm
Well,
glad.
we
doesn't
have a
mean
lot
anything.
of
Can't really
people dead
prove that.
already, so
Ah.
Listen, if I was trying to kill you guys, I'd be following Corn of all people because I know that he would suss me out immediately.
Rude.
I think it's
I
true.
appreciate the confidence, but rude.
Well, who's still got tasks left?
I've got one task left, and I'll do it. And you can come watch me do it if you want.
I believe I also have one task left, so I will join.
Wow, Corn.
If you've got tasks, you
Are we
should
just
be
voting to skip
following
or
me
something?
around.
So we voted.
Well, I think it's safer to it was very low on tasks completed, so I think it's safer to follow people around and make sure they're good instead of trying to get tasks done.
Wait, who voted me?
this is
Who the fuck wanted
Oh,
Corn?
This is
God.
great. I don't like this. Come on.
Tasks are getting done so quickly though. Like Hood would have a
I
chance
might
to
have
actually
to-
spin this around.
I might
yeah.
have to add another one then.
Maybe like
A short task.
one.
Another short
I want
task.
to say another short task and another long task. Because this is like absurdly quick actually.
I would
Yeah,
say
see, look at
Yeah.
that. Wow.
I would say
Yeah.
a short and a common. A short and a common are probably the two.
Sure. Actually, yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
that's so
Dude, okay. This is so fucked up because Hood totally had a chance to bring that back, but like those tasks got done so quickly.
I was gonna time it, right? So my plan was I was gonna time it. You go, okay. So you said, oh yeah, I'll go and do my task. And I planned. I was Jimmy Neutron. I planned, formulated in my brain. I was like, okay, the second they touch that thing, I'm calling an emergency.
I need. Hey Max.
Okay.
Hey Max. You kind of like missed my body like dead next to the button. Dear life.
Wait,
I pressed my life when Fedez chased me from a vent, and then he just kills me before I can press the button, and he just walked right by my body. I'm like, okay.
So it was.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
Times.
Here's the
okay,
thing.
so wait,
guy.
guys.
You didn't see the
I
report button in the
added
corner?
a common task and a short task.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes. More tasks might be needed.
I have one more thing. My highest streak of getting imposter is 4 times in a row. And I don't know why, but I'm so unlucky with that.
A fast killer, not some slow, methodical one.
That doesn't mean anything to
we need
me.
a psychopath.
I'm changing to
Listen,
white
if
so
it's
people
going
can
to be
see me
a
easier.
psychopath in this party, it's going to be me. I'm going to be obvious about how I kill, as in I'm going to be fast about it. Like, come on, I don't take my time.
If you're gonna kill me, please make it quick and painless.
I mean, yeah.
Painful? Yo, I got you.
I'm going to kill you immediately.
Yeah.
Maybe wait for a moment where there's no one to watch, but I'll do it as soon as I can.
I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow you in case you're the murder.
Okay,
Please.
let's start now. Okay, shush. Yay! Do your tasks. I will do my task. Let's go to O2 navigation. I'm gonna die first. It's gonna be Theo, and I'm gonna die first. I'm glad I'm finally learning this map, though. So, like, I now know where things are. Oh, it's Elfie. I'm gonna die. Probably Fennis again. Probably. Nah, they'll handle it. I don't need to. Hi, there's Max. Aaron.
Way too many people to be popping. O2.
Your mic.
Your mic on
Oh, fuck me.
Hate that one. I feel like I saw Elfie glitch, but that could be because of...
Oh fuck.
It's funny, I was about to say...
Oh my
I was about to say, I thought I saw Elfie glitch and I wondered if it was a vent, but I think it just glitched out.
What are the chances of it being Maximilian after him forgetting to mute himself and going like, O2 too full to pop into?
Yeah, what I said was it's way too early to pop O2 because there's too many players on the field. I wouldn't have done O2 that early if I was an imposter.
Okay, I found Elfie on the hallway between security and generator.
Okay.
Like on the
top or bottom generator.
No, between.
Oh, that's
both,
like that that hallway on the left side, right?
Yeah,
No,
it's the top or the bottom generator.
No, it's like when
Those
all
are
the
engines, not
all the
generators.
roads go together.
Yeah, the reactor. You mean?
The
Yeah, you have reactor, security. On that point, I found her body.
Okay, because I was up in engine room upper level and I didn't see anyone because I was at engine room upper level doing the balancing, and then I went towards cafeteria like a couple of seconds before the body got called, and I didn't see anyone down there.
Okay.
I saw someone going. I saw someone in electrical and then went away. I think that was hood, but I'm not sure.
I,
Because I was
I can
functioning
account.
out.
Yeah.
Was anyone going up through that hallway or down?
No,
I don't know.
I saw
not-
Max a lot on the
I
right
was
side.
Which
not
hallway
on
was
that
that?
side of the ship because I was handling stuff in
Wait.
admin and then shields. So
Who was in medbay?
Who was in midbay?
I don't know.
I don't think anyone else was. I know a lot of us were on the right side, and then like admin too.
I
Like I was kind of hanging
haven't
around.
actually been to the left-hand side of the map yet.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
and Max have kind of been like
So,
at
so I'm
this
gonna tell you
point,
right now,
like,
whoever did this, after they killed Elfie, went into security and used the vent there because I saw movement in medbay right before the body was called away.
Like, I guess we'll skip. We don't know much. But whoever was on that left side, which is so far.
I
Whoever
was
did
doing
this
electrical.
was
Remember
smart.
anything, honestly. I wasn't paying that much attention. I just kind of zoned out during that meeting. So,
Unlike me with the fucking mics.
Okay, let's go to medbay. Okay. I'm gonna die. Medbay. I didn't finish in there? Okay. I hate that. I hate that. Oh, come on! Ah!
Oh my god.
Why? Why am I?
Oh my god, Fedez is fighting
Why?
every single one. Where was it this time, Fedez?
Admin.
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 Oh my
yeah.
god.
I know it's probably not Corn and whoever was with Corn. When we were dealing with the
That would have
reactor.
been. It would have been
Yeah.
you, me, Max, and Fedez.
Hood was there as well.
Hood was
Guy-
there as
For
well
the,
at the end.
Kaidi came from storage, and we met him.
I met at the I went to
electrical store. Somewhere before
Wait,
electrical,
isn't
we
storage
met.
no, I came
right
from-
under
I came
admin,
from-
though?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
it
what
is.
happened was I came straight from weapons. I was just kind of hanging out there and I saw Moss was over there and I went to O2 to do a task there. I saw the reactor go off and I figured like there's probably other people already there. I was on the other side of the map. So, and then I just kind of wrapped around and then went back towards electrical to do more tasks and then just kind of find people because I knew you guys came from there.
Wait. You were looking at weapons to look after Moss?
No, I just knew Moss was there. Moss can account for the fact. Well, they were doing tasks. over there.
Moss is dead.
Moss
Moss is
can't,
dead.
in fact.
Oh no, Moss was there. Okay, somebody was doing tasks over there.
Yeah.
Wait, Moss was the one that just died, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing tasks over there, and then I just left, and then that's it.
So Fedez, do you have any
Is
solid?
there anyone? Is
Can
there
you
anyone
respond
else
to
though that
this?
can account for that? Because you said it was an admin.
It was an admin, yeah.
Yeah, because I never went into admin ever.
But
I know
it
it's like I know there are paths for me to go to get through to admin, but like I never went to admin.
Yeah, but it's at the entrance of admin.
At the entrance of admin.
Yeah, it's like when you. Yeah, it's like on the door where admin's door. There's.
Who can clear Fedez of this?
I would say all of us that were in the reactor.
Okay.
Because
So-
Fedez was
Yeah,
in there.
you guys went up, and I was like, go
Yeah.
down, please,
Yeah.
please, go down. We have 12
Okay.
seconds.
Max went up and I went down as soon as that happened.
All right, I'm skipping. Then we don't have
Yeah,
enough.
I don't know. I know it looks like it's on me because like Moss and I were the only ones that weren't at the
Probably-
reactor, but
Yeah, I'm willing to say it's
High or
probably not
Hood?
Fedez, just because of the reactor.
yeah, no, I can say yeah, I would probably not
High
Fedez.
or Hood. Hood is awfully quiet. Oh. Okay, we're gonna try.
Oh, don't forget to move.
We're gonna try Medbay again. Apparently, I did that wrong. Electrical. Okay. They really like this one, huh? Oh. Wait.
Okay, I
Wait,
think no, I know where it is. I know who it is. I think I
That
know
was
who it is.
O2. Yeah, who is it?
I think Max was following me in generator to stop the meltdown, and Lily came after him, and Max and Lily went down. Well, I went up.
Yeah,
Max is not
I
dead.
thought he was still alive.
Was there a fourth
so
person that
confused.
entered the room?
Not that I know
Apparently,
of.
Kai, who did you? For which body did you call?
Fuck, I don't remember. It was just I just saw the body instantly. I just reported it.
Where was the body?
It was O2.
Oh, then that wasn't anywhere near where we were.
Yeah, when I went, like I saw
That was
reactors
Hood.
go off.
That was Hood, not Max.
Okay, yeah, it was Hood then. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, it was Hood. It was Hood. I remember now. It definitely wasn't green.
Yeah, I don't know if Fetus is saying it's me, then I think it's Fetus again for the billionth time because it definitely
God, what are the
wasn't
chances?
me.
Well, okay, so hold on a
And
second.
it's funny, Mike Rice in my chat even was like, it's probably Fetus again. So I don't know.
So hold on a second. I was at reactor. Who came to do reactor?
I did.
Yeah, who did? Okay, you did reactor.
Okay.
I was still I was an admin and I was gonna wrap around to do my communications task, but then I saw that go off. But again, I was on the other side of the map, so I figured, okay, I'll just kind of look around, see if there's any stragglers.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't
go
know.
figure.
Kai, I don't know. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how much I trust that.
The thing,
Yeah.
Kai or
Okay,
Fetus?
Kai-
I'm scared now.
So Fedez is.
I have
Fedez
only
is the
two
one with
tests.
us right
I
now,
have
so I'm
only
going
two tests
Fedez.
left.
My
I've
biggest
only-
issue is I saw all three of the main trio there, Lily, Fedez, and Max in electrical just before
Okay, I think
the
it's
reactor
Fetus.
incident happened. So they
I
took
think it's Fedez. I think it's
I went
Fedez.
into
Why?
admin. Okay.
I wish it was the fourth time.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it has been. Who knows?
I think okay,
Yeah.
then it has to be one more.
All right.
I'm
Well,
so
guess what?
scared.
Kai, good
Guess
job,
what?
buddy.
Guess what, bitches? Woo! Oh yeah, and here's the hey, you guys want to know here, guys. Here's the best part about this all. Guys, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Here's the best part about this all. I never killed a single person.
Nope, it was all me.
It was all Augustus.
Yeah.
It was all Augustus. I didn't kill a single person. I just played along and just
Yeah,
did what.
that's
Yeah.
why I was trying to pin it on you, because you were the only person that I personally couldn't account for outside of Augustus, and if it was in fact you, I was gonna go for Augustus next. 'Cause
You know
Yeah.
how angry
Check
I am about that? Like, I saw Augustus do the killing right after the reactor meltdown, like, and I'm just like, oh, everyone should have seen that.
No one came down to the bomb. They all went to the
Seen
top.
that.
And
I was going to say, yeah, I was the only one that went down, and
Yeah, I
therefore
was
everyone was out of line of sight. That was the gutsiest fucking kill you got away with.
Fetus
Yeah,
blamed
well,
me. I'm
but
like,
you-
wait, I thought Max
yeah.
was alive.
Dude, Augustus, I swear to God, some of those kills and the placements and just the timing of where I was like, dude, this man's kills are gonna get me killed. Like, I was getting sussed on so hard because I was just in the area.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Kai and Lily, because Kai did also.
Well, I was just
with
based on proximity. Yeah, my position was just so fucked with, like, based on the bodies, and then, like, I didn't have much of an alibi. Like, actually, everything lined up towards me. I'm surprised people didn't, like, hound on me even harder.
I don't know. I said you were kind of sus, but I wasn't
You
sure.
were like, oh yeah.
No one voted for me.
Moss
No one ever voted for me.
Tasks,
I did.
and like,
I did.
Moss could
Okay,
account
well,
for
okay,
me. I
one
led
vote.
that round, and I'm like, I
No one
could
else.
account for you if I was alive.
Nobody listened.
Yeah, nobody wanted to vote for me, apparently, and I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll play along with Augustus. And then
That's a little too suspicious.
And then because of that, I was able to go with Augustus's thing to vote off Fedes, because I was like, and then when Augustus was like that, I was like, okay, we just vote Fedes off and we win.
Yeah.
Nobody listened.
Thanks
I'm
for
so-
that one, by the way.
Nobody
I'm
listened.
so mad. I'm
Yeah.
so mad. The moment
That's
I'm not
what
the
you
imposter,
get
I
for
get killed.
blaming me.
You can't blame.
Should have sussed me out first, Fedes. Should have sussed me first.
Yeah, true. Because you
You'll
got
listen
one
to me.
vote, Kai.
You'll hear
You
me
got
out.
one vote, and that was mine. In the
Yeah,
first
Did
vote.
we? We're now just over halfway through, at least like my ability to stream.
Yeah.
Did we want to start playing with some of the new roles? Because I've not actually tried any of them yet.
I don't.
So scientist will be the easiest. So Lily, scientist is going to be the least impactful because all you can do as a scientist is pull up vitals anywhere. You don't have to go to admin to pull up vitals. So if you want something low impact, you can put 2 scientists at 100%.
It's just a lot for me. I don't know. I have fun with.
But we could maybe
How about we
change
switch up the maps?
Yes.
Let's go
yeah.
to. I like Polaris personally.
Wait. Do I have to?
You have to switch. You have to leave. Yeah, we have to make a new lobby.
Okay.
So stupid.
It is really dumb, yeah. But
I feel like it used to be that you didn't need to leave the lobby.
But you did. You always did.
You always did,
Really?
yeah.
All these other changes they've done, and that one basic thing they still haven't managed to do.
Yeah, or a countdown for lobby timeout. I feel it would be very useful.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Alright.
There's like a lot of basic quality of life stuff that they just have not added for some weird reason.
But hey, at the end of the day,
first in, hell yeah.
Technically, they are a small indie company, so.
Yeah, and this game was made quite a while before. They like didn't. It was almost dead, and then it popped off, and they're like,
Yeah, I
"Oh,
know.
I guess we have to update this now."
Yeah,
Remember them, like, they were
They
losing their
canned
shit.
development of Among Us 2 to keep supporting this.
Yeah, so that people don't have to buy the game again, and it's like, yeah, they're made it very friendly towards like consumers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is good on them. Good on them.
It's not like
Very good on them.
You know, a
missing?
$28 game.
Oh, me. Hold on. I don't know. Where is it? There it is. My bad. I was like just kind of sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I was like, oh yeah, I should join the lobby.
Maybe.
Did I say thumbs? I meant flippers. Haha.
Wait, maybe.
Oh, wait.
Thumbs. What are those?
Okay, wait. We all ready?
Okay,
Yeah,
now I'm
so
ready.
down.
Maybe with my imposter wear, I'll become an imposter.
There you go.
Damn, Augustus
I'm
and I
gonna
had
join the
matching
white.
skins, too.
I'm gonna.
I just
I'm gonna-
realized.
I'm never gonna be an imposter. Ah! Oh, I don't know anything about this map. Where are we? I don't even know where we are. Where are we? Launchpad. Okay. No pyro posture. You're right. I don't know where I'm going. Where am I? How am I? What? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to... So it's not Fez.
So I'm thinking it's Fedez, you guys.
Okay, so I came up because I couldn't figure out how to get into the room to do my tasks, and I was like, no one's fixing comms, so I went up, and then it's like, as I went to press the button, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a dead body.
Okay. I want to say Augustus, Hood, and Elfie are fine because I kept
I
the count
just
for the fact that they all were. Yeah, they were
Augustus,
all. We all stayed at
Corn,
spawn.
and I were all in the reactor
Where
area.
is that? Wait, I can...
I guess Corn, you went into the lab right across from the reactor.
Oh, I didn't see any of y'all.
Oh, I was in the reactor and I could see from where I was when people entered the area. So Augustus and I were in the reactor and you were in the lab, right? When
Yeah,
the body was reported.
You guys have to say directions. I don't know this map.
Left, top left, top left.
Top left.
I was... Wait.
Yeah, that door was closed.
Wait, I was
Yeah,
in
it's like a
top
weird
left.
airlock
I'm
thing.
confused.
Yeah.
Top right is where you might have been. If
Yeah.
you're talking
No.
about comms and stuff.
No, I think it was... You know, I don't know directions.
Yeah, there were
You're
no
probably
comms.
right.
There were no comms in the area that we were at.
Okay.
So.
There aren't any comms in the reactor area.
So it's top right. Yeah, it is top right then.
It's top right.
So Corn, I, and Moss. When we went through, like whenever I went through the airlock, you two were already up there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Who was it?
I
Who was it?
couldn't say. I have no idea. I literally have not seen anyone.
Okay. So who came over to the airlock while I was waiting for the door to open up? And then they like looked at me and then they ran away. Like I can understand.
That
You
was
were
me.
scared.
I was
Okay,
like, I
so-
saw that and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. I don't want to wait.
I'll say Corn. Or actually, no. I guess Moss. Moss. How long were you up in reactor?
Oh, I had like 2 tasks up in reactor,
No,
so
no,
I was like,
Wait,
my
Hood,
question.
Hood and Max are quiet.
Hood and
I
Alfie
was-
were at the start. They were at the start
I
of
just
the
don't-
game. They never
I
moved.
was sat by like a thing, just like looking at a screen as a count went down.
Yeah, Hood and Alfie are fine.
Just two of them
Lily,
pretty
I know you
nerds.
were also pretty much lagged a little bit behind the group too, because I stayed behind just to account for who didn't leave yet. So
I think it might be Elfie. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm in the office now, so I might as well do my tasks. Hopefully I don't die. Yeah, hopefully I don't die. Okay, let's go to admin. Oh my god, so the last person I saw alive was Hood, or not Hood, Kai, so,
What?
I don't know.
Pyro, this is the second dead body you found.
I can vet.
I was literally with Hood the whole time. I passed by
I
Max,
don't
who
know,
was doing the
I saw
comms.
someone,
No,
they were
no.
someone was following me up there
It
to
wasn't
do
me.
the comms
Me
to
and-
the office.
Me and Kai. Were
Yeah,
together
I did
the whole
follow you.
time.
I went to you. I went up to you just to kind of just account for you there and, see
that
if anyone
was
else
the
was there.
place I
There's no
found
one.
the first dead body, by the way.
I literally
No,
went
me
up
and-
to you, like literally for the first like 2 seconds even. I went right back. Max probably saw me like pretty soon after because I literally checked up on him when he was doing the other comms, and then went to Hood.
But the dead body could have been in your path because it was right outside of the office.
I didn't even know there was anybody. I never ran into a single person until I ran into Max and doing the comms.
I don't remember seeing you at all. I went to Launchpad.
Probably because I was looking at you from the hallway, just kind of like how Moss
Wait,
was.
Launchpad, but that's really far away from the office and admin.
Launchpad.
Yeah, because I have tasks there.
No, I know. I'm talking about Kai. How could you see him?
Oh.
Because I looked at him through the hallway in the comms room. Like you can literally look inside, like light shines in, you can look inside, and I saw Max doing it, and I was because I was gonna do it myself because I saw you already doing the one up there, so I went to go to the other one, and then someone else was already doing it. So.
Oh no.
And then I went with Hood. I saw Augustus on
You're
top
the
left.
only person I saw up there with me, though.
We were pinning the blame on the wrong person because right now, so that's all I'm gonna say.
No, Kai's fine. Kai's fine. We were in what's like the big room with the
But
engine
like
in it.
again,
The
like
top
he
left,
could have.
yeah.
He
No,
literally
but we
could
went-
have done it like. A
Also,
second
by the way,
after I
kill
saw
cooldown
it.
is 25
We were alone.
seconds.
Wait.
I
We were
can't kill
alone
people that
together.
quickly.
Yeah,
Oh.
we were alone
For the first
together.
25 seconds, I was with people.
Hold on. Elfie, where were you?
Where was Elfie though?
Oh
I will. Did you forget I exist?
no, but yes, but,
Oh no,
but
we
the
no, we
last
did.
round.
No, we remembered.
But the
Where were you?
last
Elfie,
round, I
where
saw
were
you
you?
kind of outside that area where I found
And
the
let
first
her
dead.
answer the question. Let her answer the question. Elfie, where
It
were
was
you?
in the top room with the tree.
That's
Elfie
the top
was in her
right.
natural habitat.
That's exactly where you were talking about, Lily. That was you were unsure about because I was there too.
Imposter, guys.
So yeah, watch out for that forest creature.
Oh, leave her alone.
Excuse me.
Wait, how does this one work? Hold on. Easter. Oh, okay. There we go. I don't know why that's a task. The admin. 2, 6. Okay. Hopefully these are short tasks, so I can just... He definitely could have killed me, so... Oh, hydrate and slurp! Sorry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Swear to God, if I find another dead body, I'm gonna be so mad. Ah! I just saw Ghost is in corn. Wait. Wait.
Oh God.
Wait, I just saw them though.
Right.
They were in the lab, I think the top left with me.
I was my sense.
I just left them, and it was empty. There was no one in there. Kai left before I did.
Yeah,
Where were you
didn't
guys?
I see you? I was with Corn
Okay.
going up there, and then we passed
Going
you,
up
Max.
to the
lab.
top left, right? Top
The
left, right,
lab,
Lily?
yeah, and then I finished my stuff, and then I went down, and then I went back up to the office. I was like, I'm done with my tasks, but there was like
me
one
too.
of the flashing ones, so.
Yeah, tasks are almost done, but we're in a pretty bad spot right now.
I think it's
Hood,
Elfie.
where were you? I have a good feeling about Elfie too.
I was,
What?
yeah, I have a good feeling about
I,
Elfie.
I saw all of you.
Yeah, no, she had. Oh, well,
People were alive, like people were alive for a while.
I
Elfie's
suddenly...
so I've just been fucking.
You know, I was also with Max for a while, so.
I know, yeah, you two are always together. That's why I'm like, actually, that makes me even more like unsure about both of you, actually.
What?
But I also saw everyone else.
kind of agree.
Like,
No.
I
I haven't seen Elfie at all.
I think
And I haven't seen Elfie, period, barely.
No, I think I was alone with Max. He didn't kill me. I was alone with
Like,
Elfie.
I'm still remembering last round because if the body was found when you were saying, Lily, and like Elfie was the only person that could have been on that side of the map during the
Yeah.
time that like the kill cooldown
Okay,
was
here's
up.
the thing. Okay, here's the thing. My suspicions are Elfie, Kai, and Lily. Just because not because I suspect anything about them, but because okay, so where were you two actually? Where was Kai?
I was in the office. I finished my task, and one of the flashing ones was in the office, so I went to do it.
I finished all my tasks.
Yeah,
I was.
Kai is being pretty aggressive with his accusations.
I'm like literally the exact same as I am in every. Okay, well, here we go.
I'm willing
This
to
is where
vote
we
Kai,
lose.
just
This is where we
because-
lose, guys. All right, bye, guys. We lost. Good job. Good fucking job.
Fuckers!
Y'all don't trust me. Y'all don't fucking trust me.
Thanks, Kai.
It was the forest spirit.
I called it! Nobody listened to me! I called it! I called it! I'm literally playing the exact same I do every single time!
This is my first time.
I played the exact same as I did every single time.
Literally, I was like, wait, that was
This
so
is a
bad.
historical moment. This is a historical moment because
I knew because also Max was like defending the hell out of Elfie, and I was and
Yeah,
we were
and I was
always
like,
together.
wait.
I was thinking
and I was like, okay.
the person that deserves it.
Hood, I
And then
blame
Elfie's
you.
like, Kai's
Hood, I
aggressive.
blame
Alright, let's
you.
vote for Kai.
No, shut the fuck up. You also voted.
I voted for Elfie.
I voted for Elfie too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was you, Hood. That was actually on you.
Me,
Yeah,
me
that
and
was
Elfie
literally you.
together voted Kai Hood. Thank you for delivering us that victory.
Thanks, Hood.
Actually smart.
I knew that they were getting really aggressive back at me when I'm just.
I went through all that at the end of that last round
Dude.
just for y'all to.
What
go.
I'm hearing.
Bro, all I was saying was Elfie was the only person that was on that side, so it's probably Elfie.
Fence and I were following Elfie, and we just watched her kill Quern and were screaming.
I was trying so hard. I knew who I was sus of, and then fucking Hood is like, I think it's Kaya. I'm like, what the fuck?
Bitching. Stop
What do you mean it was me?
Because you failed to convince me. That's my fucking.
Failed to
He
convince Elfie was
acted
the
the
only
same
person on
as
the right side of the map,
every
and that person died on my side, and that was my argument. There's
Listen,
nobody else.
This might be kind of harsh, but I find it hard to like to believe you trying to believe your hunches after that one time you gave yourself away by accident.
Wait, what do you mean give myself away?
No, it was me.
No, I'm
As
talking about
imposter?
Hood. I
Oh,
still
Hood?
can't get over the time he gave himself
okay?
away.
So like this body was an X, right? And then no one mentioned. And then it was like we never mentioned this body was an X, and I was like, darn.
Yeah, no, he was like there was talk about this body being like outside of on this map outside of the lab, and he was like he mentioned, oh, so you were in the reactor, when no one mentioned the lab or the reactor. They just said it was out like in that general area.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, you ready? We ready to try again?
I was surprised.
Yeah.
You just come and then you killed me. That was genius. And Lily just watched it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the fact that I thought I was so screwed when Lily walked in there.
Okay. Oh, I'm scared, and I'm with Hood out of all people. Which means I'm gonna have to lead. No!
All right.
That was
Oh,
fast.
Jesus.
Hold
on.
It was
Body
just
wear.
outside the airlock that led to the reactor, because I was on my way there to fix the meltdown and fucking
There were
body.
like 500 of
I
us in the reactor.
saw everyone over there, and I'm like, okay. sorry.
Yeah, Lily, I saw that too, and like I just left. Like Lily and I were on
Moss
the.
was there before we
that's
were, though.
Oh, yeah,
Moss
I was there
here
first because I
before
had
us.
a task in reactor and a task in lab, so I immediately went up there because I don't ever want to go up there again.
Moss is cleared by that notion, though.
Yeah, Moss and Corn and I were all up in reactor area before the reactor got called away.
As was Elfie. Elfie was with us.
Right. Yeah, I just went straight. I saw like so many people there, and I saw so that the doors closed, and I was like, I don't want to go there. So I just went to the tree.
Corn, who went through the airlock with me and you? Was it Elfie or was it Moss?
It was Elfie.
So did Moss come up after?
I was on my own
Moss
in
was
the
already
reactor.
there. Moss was there before all three.
Okay, I didn't see her. Okay.
Always make a
Yeah,
beeline
Moss
for
was
the
in-
reactor.
Moss was in the lab. You two went to the left. I went up and to the right.
Okay.
Moss was already in there.
So that puts me, Corn, and Moss and Elfie all clear of this one, correct?
Yes.
So that leaves Lily, Hood, Max, and Kai.
Kai and I
Who
were
of you
together
four-
on the
I
other
literally-
side, so
And Augustus, we
definitely.
left. Augustus,
yeah, I
we
can-
literally left the beginning area like at the same time because I was like waiting around
I
watching
can
people.
I can
And
bet
then-
for Lily and Kai because
And then I saw we split off at that point when I saw that reactor like the doors because I was like I don't want to do this, and I know you
So-
went and I went to tree and I
Is
saw Lily
Max
there.
doing a self-report?
He could.
It is
So-
entirely
I don't
possible.
know though.
That's possible.
Wait, hold on. Guys. Hood just said that he could swear for Lily and Kai as well, right, Hood?
yeah, I was okay. So we were kind of it was
Max is the odd man out here. Max is the only one that someone can't swear
Only
for.
when we don't know what he was doing.
I think it
Wait,
was
what?
Well, I know I'm going for, so.
Oh, who are we
He
voting for?
He was mean to me the last round.
Can I ask again exactly where the body was?
Killed some
Also, be a
people.
really
Where was the
stupid
body?
way to self-report. So what if
The
it's
body was just
Lily or
outside the
Hood?
airlock.
Because I don't know where
Which
they were
side of the
exactly.
airlock?
Holy shit! Really?
Oh, okay. Wow. I skipped. All right. Bye, Max.
Bye, guys.
We'll see what happens.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
Moss.
Why do you think it was me?
I want to ask you something. Where did you go at the very start?
Where did I go at the very start? I went onto the balcony to do the weather task.
The
Then I
balcony?
went right
So, like,
underneath
this-
storage to do an electrical task.
Yep.
You know, with the
You
wires.
went to the bottom right,
And
right?
then I went
Moss
up
did
and
the same
around down to the med bay to continue my electrical task.
You're on your way to medbay, right?
Yeah, I was on my way to med bay. If you saw me do that little stutter step thing, it was because I was unsure who you were, and I was like,
Yeah.
what if it's
I
an
stopped
enemy?
for a second because like I just didn't remember seeing you on that at the start. I thought you like left with everybody else because I counted for like a few people, and then like Lily and Elfie were the only ones that like left immediately then because I thought you left too, but I don't know. I asked because like I
Elfie,
thought
what's
like
the body?
potentially you
Elfie,
could have
what's
been
the body?
back.
An admin.
Admin, okay.
Lily and Elfie were the ones that left. Instantly.
We didn't really see anyone, so I don't know.
Hood and I
But where
were
was the
in
body?
admin, but then we left and we didn't.
Yeah.
Corn stayed
Yeah.
behind.
Okay, I will admit,
so
I will
don't
admit,
know.
I saw we were around when
Well,
Corn was
if
there.
you and Hood were an admin with Quern and then left and stayed behind, what if you were both the imposters and are just
No,
trying to create an alibi for both of you?
I don't know. I think
No,
Price saw us.
That's smart.
No, I will admit.
I think that
Okay,
was-
here's
I
the
think
thing.
that was
I
later?
think.
I don't know.
No, I think. Okay, so I was the last one to head down, right? Because Lily left before me, but I passed Elfie. She didn't kill me, so I think I can vet for her.
Where was the body? Sorry, I need to know where the body was again. Sorry.
If I had the courage to self-report in admin, because I
In
had like 3
admin.
tasks in there, and then I saw a
Which
corpse.
was
And I was
admin's top, right? Or is it?
It's
I don't know
the
this map as
top.
well.
It's the top rightmost room.
Okay.
I think it's either Lily and or Hood because they said they were the last people with Quern in admin before mentioning that the body was in admin.
Augustus, what were you doing? Did you stay like in the emergency room?
I can clear Moss because her and I were both like I did the weather task with her, and then I immediately did the wiring task with her, and that's when we split off.
Yeah, you guys kind of stuck around
I'd
there.
say vote for Lily and Hood. They are the most suspect people, and they always vouch for each other. But what if they're both imposters?
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
or not.
Yes. It
How
makes
How do I sabotage?
Oh my God.
Absolutely evil. Honestly, for the two of you, probably the best strategy you could go with, though. Not
I
even
know,
gonna lie.
because I thought when I was imposter, I'd have someone like who was good at killing, and Hood is mediocre, and I was like, oh great.
Oh my God. Yeah, who'd kill me? Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't get the chance to kill him.
Oh. Oh my. Oh no. My the pinchies.
Are big.
The pinchies fucked up. Oh God.
Smart.
They're
Smart
big.
Kai. Smart Kai. Run Kai. Run Kai.
No, yeah, Hood, don't, yeah. Good.
No, Kai absolutely noticed that. Kai absolutely noticed that.
I know. We're done. We're done for.
Go, Kai!
If anybody was gonna notice that, Kai was gonna notice that.
Kai really goes for it. Kai knows what he does. He needs to do. It's scary. He's the detective. There's no way.
Oh, I
no
was
other
gonna
way.
sabotage. Fucking rude.
I can do anything. I'm a ghost.
Yeah. We don't need air. We do not care. Is anyone gonna... They're all trapped in there! Oh, GG. There's no way.
What?
Oh, wait, no. Okay, maybe. Maybe they got a chance.
Hood could've...
Elfie!
They're quick
Elfie!
enough.
Elfie!
Wait, did someone
oh, God, my
die?
controls.
Wait, Max.
Come on! Okay, another one.
Wait.
Another one.
Oh.
Yes!
Wait, who? Did someone die? I'm confused.
Nah.
No.
No, we were...
Wait, why isn't Max in here?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, apparently the PNGs did weird. So there was a big lady and a
Max.
big corn on my screen.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oh.
Okay, Max is
my,
here
my
now.
chat is like, oh, big hips on screen. Ah. Hello, Max.
Hi. Is he still deafened though?
Yeah, he's still definitely...
Yep. I did all my task. To the. Oh no, come sit down. Never mind. Oh. Hello, Arcus. Welcome to the gang.
Oh, is he finally dead?
Yep. And oh, who won? Who is gonna win?
Oh, wait,
who
why
is gonna
is
win?
Elfie suspect? Oh no, I don't know.
Well, GG.
We don't know. We don't know that. We don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Gotta be Hood. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
I think it's Hood because we're at 4 people, which means for us to still be in here, that means there's only 1 imposter left.
Mm-hmm.
So if Lily was the imposter, and then Hood is another one, and they kept on defending each other, and being like
The only reason I was defending Lily is
alibi
because,
for each other,
she
then
was
that's a
doing
good
something.
idea that Hood is the imposter.
Moss and Elfie had opportunities to kill me, and I kind of just for whatever reason, I just kind of kept my distance from Hood, just out of
both
chance.
of them also had opportunities to kill me, and they didn't know. I thought Kai was about to kill me though, because
You're fine. You're fine. I'm not gonna kill you yet.
Okay, so
Not this game.
like, I don't think it was Lily because she had a bunch of time in the world to kill me, and she didn't kill me. So.
Yeah, and that could be you defending yourself and Lily because both of you could be imposters.
That's true, but I don't really.
I think that
I was
are
a
imposter.
bunch of you, like, and I didn't.
All right, Hood. What were you doing then? While during that last portion, like that last 10
few
20
tasks,
seconds.
like a few tasks up in what was it? The big room with the reactor. Is it just reactor?
Yeah, Elfie. What were you doing? Did you see Hood?
no.
I hope they.
No, we were
find
See, Hood
Elfie
was hanging
guilty.
out, keeping watch around Kai, near the
Moss and I-
reactor.
yeah,
and the
Moss and I
lab.
were-
Also, I was in
Me and
the
Alfie-
room with you where the corpse was.
Me and Elfie were
I know.
together.
That's why I'm just asking, anyways, because
Me and
but-
Elfie were together in the what's the what the comms went out, and then I went up to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, also,
That's
remember when all of us ran into the room where the dead body was, except for Hood?
No, yeah. I mean, I also think of the possibility of Elfie darting back just by chance, and then and also because she didn't report it right away, but also that's whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
That's because I
think
didn't see it.
I think it's Hood though.
that Hood is
Oh,
the
damn
imposter.
it.
Come on, Hood,
I
just make
think
your
Kai
vote.
is it, but I already voted Hood, so
I do think it's Hood.
Well, it was probably Hood.
vote it's Kai.
I don't think it would have been Kai,
Trust.
but we won,
Trust.
so.
I'm going to be the last person to die on that one.
Wait.
Ah!
Okay. So,
Wait!
no, Lily. So when
the wrong button.
when we were together when we were together with Quan, don't ever admit we were together near the body. You just put us in the fire.
I'm not great at this. Also, are you guys still in the room?
Yeah, the room died.
The room
for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
because
died.
I fucked up.
You want to try Polar? You want to try the Polaris map, the snow map?
No,
Snow map.
You good,
I like the
Max?
snow map.
I have a
I
little
think it's
issue with
very
my
funny when
stuff.
you have the imposters being each other's alibi, and then it's just like,
No, because I
Dude,
had
which
to.
one
I
was
had
the
to.
snow
Lily was like,
map?
"Oh yeah, we were in the room together with the body," and I was like, "Oh shit, right, I got to work with this as much as I can."
Dude, that was that
Okay,
that was
which
LP
one's
and
the
Mask because they were
snow?
hard defending. Polaris.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's what happened with LP and Mask. Like I think like the second half of that game when they were imposters, they were like hardcore defending each other, and that's when I was like,
It's not working.
Are you good?
I have an issue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will try to join, but yeah, there's a issue with the PNG thingies.
Oh, why?
Because when I'm dead, it only shows the PNGs of the people that are in the thing, and it looks like, yeah, it's very
It does.
scuffed.
It does. You're right.
Give me a sec.
That happens.
This will take a little.
What we could have done is we could have put everyone in individually.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now to fix it.
I always do individual personally.
I think it's funny when they get big.
I think I enjoy being really tiny.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
Oh wow, you are really tiny, huh?
Yeah.
I am just a little boy.
No.
I'm just
No.
Oh, not again.
No.
Am I a good size on your guys' screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're decent.
I work.
All right, good.
It works. I'm gonna try something.
This is actually my very first fan work that someone did for me. Like a fan did this for me, so I'm very happy with it.
Very nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Also, Max, you are still mic muted if you are attempting to speak.
Fuck!
Yeah. We're waiting on
Hey,
one
Max.
more.
That was fucking tragic that you got voted off, man.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Dude, I was the only one that skipped.
I am equally guilty of this. I got swept up in the notion of who was accountable.
It was my karma for somehow evading detection when fucking Pyro walked into the room after I killed whoever it was.
The previous round.
Yeah, the previous round, and somehow she didn't see me standing there, trying
You
to
killed me.
activate the vent, not understanding how the vent works, just going, as Pyro walks in.
Did you see? Max is sus.
Okay,
I
let's
flash on Max, but for some reason it doesn't work.
Man, I skipped. I was like, all right, we're skipping, right, guys? I see everyone vote for Max. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I'm
that was
sorry
so
about
tragic.
It happens.
It do.
Roommate, awesome. Perfect. Okay. I'm with Moss. Hopefully I don't die. Theo could have killed a few times. On no killing? Yeah. I know. Knowing Theo would have killed me. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Ah. It's a long task? I don't know. That is hood. No, it's getting cold. Knowing. How do we get in there? Okay, I clearly didn't know how to do that task. Comms. Let's go to comms. I feel like Elfie and Theo could have killed.
How's
I'm
everyone's
surprised.
day?
That's
Someone would've
surprising.
been
That,
dead by
that
now.
is
That's really
surprising.
shocking.
Why?
All right.
Yeah.
Why would you call?
Yeah. Why'd you call?
I mostly because I'm like almost done with my tasks. I was right by it, and I'm like, it's
Well-
been a
Oh,
while,
I'm
and there have been no
no-
dead
I'm-
bodies reported.
No, I'm nowhere near. So.
Not really much to
No.
account for then, huh? Guess
no.
just keep doing our tasks.
Yeah, I guess
Skip
so.
vote.
Waste
Yeah.
of an emergency meeting.
Oh, fuck off.
Damn.
I'm sorry that not everyone kills as fast as me.
I can't believe it.
Skip
Who's gonna
vote.
hate?
Max Foot, skip the fucking vote.
Oh, fine.
Hood.
Yeah, sorry. I was checking out. I don't know why.
Oh, it's lava. Okay, well, I might as well go next door. Someone else will totally get it, right? I don't know how that works. How does this work? Fixing this. Why is he not doing this?
Elfie?
Hi.
Elfie?
Hi.
Did you
Elfie.
actually kill a man?
Elfie.
I came and then Kai was like looking really like weird, and I was
What
like,
do you mean?
just
That's
looking
I don't know.
I
There
was
have
like,
been a
You
few
came up here and
times
killed the
Elfie
body.
could kill me,
I wanted
and
to
she
I was
didn't.
doing-
do the thing, and then
I was looking out for people and I see you jump on the body. I'm like, wait, what the
then
fuck?
Kai went back up, and he was like, wait.
No. That's not how that played out. No. You're playing right now. What the
Sounds like the
fuck?
ramblings of a killer.
It does.
You know, if I'm the
Feeling
killer, I would
crazy
be
right now.
silent.
I called that body. I reported it
don't-
instantly,
wait,
man. I saw
don't
that. That was
know.
not.
Wait, I
No,
don't
I
know.
was-
Because
I
Elfie
have a
could
question.
have
No.
killed me a
There,
few
and then
times.
Kai went into the other direction, right? So he went, but then I went up. So and then he went up again. Like you came from that direction. So why didn't you see that body in the first place, huh? Huh?
What do you mean? What didn't see the body in the first place? You were the one that got and killed it. I was on my way up there. I was watching for people. I was watching for people to see who else would try and go there before, because I knew Fedus was on the other side, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the other side. And then, but then you came up. You came and killed the body. I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then I just reported it.
Like even my cat is screaming right now.
I don't know.
I'm voting Kai.
Everyone attest for either one of them.
What?
I know.
God.
Oh. See.
Elfie, I'm sorry.
Oh, she just.
I skipped, y'all.
Damn. That's a tough one.
Okay, let's do comms.
Well, we're gonna owe her a fucking apology if this goes wrong.
Don't forget to mute.
Mike.
You need the mute, Max.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I guess I have to return. There's also a cat on my lap now. Say hi to Pascal. Very good boy. Laboratory. How do I get to laboratory? Oh, do I have to go all the way? No, I can go to laboratory. Micro says hi.
Can I please do my test?
Holy shit!
Please.
Oh,
Saw
Jesus.
Moss's body on the camera.
It was bottom left, Augustus's body.
August is dead.
Yeah, I was the one that
I
found
was
Augustus.
next to him. I saw him when I went
Wait, what?
in the thing to upload something. I
Wait,
saw
you
him.
you
He-
passed by him, you say?
Yeah, okay. I entered the room and I don't know what happened to him then, but
Wait, Max, who'd you vote for?
Because I came in.
Guy.
Oh my god!
I will carry Elfie's legacy.
Well, look, I came into the room and I saw Augustus's body. Okay, and Fetish, you said you came out of there, right? You passed by him.
no, you saw me walking, right?
Yeah, no, I saw you walking out.
I
That's why,
went in.
that's
I
even
went-
more. I
no, I
saw you
went-
pass by.
Yeah, I went into the room that you just passed, and I saw August there, and then I upload the thing, and then apparently he's dead.
Yeah, and I walked in and I saw him dead.
Okay, I don't know who
I don't know.
it,
This narrative is
could
a
be.
little too similar. Last round.
Well, I don't know who you guys are gonna believe.
But Kai, what did you do?
I stuck around in admin.
And was there
I
someone?
came from admin
Did you
and I was
see
looking
someone else?
I
going in
don't think I saw anybody else now.
after us, before us, before you saw me.
No, I didn't see anybody else except for you. I saw
I
you
kind of
pass by
hope they kill
outside
me
because I was
so
on my way
I can
there.
do my
We are the only two
tasks,
that
'cause
entered the
I
room.
can't
Yeah.
I
follow
would
the
say
map.
so.
I did
well.
lights,
I can
and then I
attest
went
more
there.
recently with
So
Lily.
Sorry, Kai, but you get my vote because if you are if we are the only people that went into that room,
Yeah, no, I mean, I
I
guess
did
we
it-
just vote for each other because, I mean, that's fair. It's like we're the
Yeah.
only ones that were there by
Yeah.
the body, so, alright. Fair enough.
Peace out, Kai.
Weird.
Later.
Rip.
Okay.
Mike.
Gal is blocking my view of everything. So this is gonna be right. Can you not, bud? Are you able to chill? Okay. Ah, his butt is in my face. Okay, I guess I'm using the toilet. Ah! Okay. I can... I know Fez is not it. I know it's not Fez, because when... Oh, RAR time? Hold on. I cannot start the timer right now because of Cat. Oh, it's this again! I don't know how to do this one. Someone help me! Someone help me! Wait, how the fuck does this work? Drag. I am dragging! Oh. Okay. And I just need comms. Was it Mac? Where's comms again? Oh, that's... Cat on me lap. Thank God. Okay, fix lights. Good thing my tasks are done. I think I've seen everyone that should be alive.
That was stressful. There was one more kill away.
Quern, you
Boy,
did
let's
it.
fucking
Well,
go,
Okay,
dude.
so
Was
I
it-
knew
was it-
I knew it wasn't
me off.
Fedis. I knew it wasn't Fedis because we were trying to do the same task at the same time at one point, and he wouldn't press it, and it said waiting for other player, and we were the only 2 people there.
So
it
where's
obviously-
my apology, huh?
I
No.
apologize.
I
Family, sorry.
skipped, so I don't know.
Who
I
voted
voted
for me?
Kai.
So wait,
No,
who was
no,
the
no,
other?
it was
So
me.
it was Kai and.
And Quern.
Yeah, it was.
Quern.
I
I was
was.
completely honest. I told you it was Kai.
Look, Alpha, you're a victim of proximity. I'm so sorry I had to do you like that. I had no other choice.
It made so much sense.
That entire thing too. That's the worst part about it.
What's up, Corn? Sorry.
That incident that resulted in Elfie getting got. That was all my fault. I pressed
Pleasure
every single
bit.
button that
What?
allowed that to happen.
Okay,
Oh man, Corn, dude, I killed
Completely unintentional,
Did
but
it go
it worked
bye-bye?
so well.
dude, Corn, I killed the 4 people. I was like, sayonara, you got this.
Kitty went bye bye.
I believe.
I was waiting on Michael
Once
to come
once
back.
the
we're
dead
gonna
people
do
learned
our
that
time now,
Quern was
right?
the other killer, we were in fear.
Okay.
It was too
so
late.
Wait, guys, we have to play at least one more round because someone just redeemed RAR time, so I have to say RAR at the end of every sentence. RAR.
Alright.
Lovely.
Are we all good with one more round, RAR?
I'm good with
I'm
that.
prepared,
I'm
sadly.
prepared to do a whole another hour of this.
Echo.
I'm prepared.
No, I'm sleepy. I
very
maybe can do one game.
My school hasn't said anything
Boys,
about
thank
if
you
I'm
for the
free
follow.
tomorrow, so
Welcome
I'm
to the
gonna
Pyro
say I'm
Pack,
free
right?
tomorrow.
We're waiting on 2 more people, RAR.
We're missing
Yeah,
a
we-
couple.
I'm calling it because I have to go to bed for work tomorrow. I'm afraid. 11 o'clock was my deadline.
Make it one imposter.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
it one imposter.
One imposter for.
No,
people?
wait. No,
Wait,
7.
wait.
Make
Seven
it one
could-
imposter
seven
and
could
make
two.
me the imposter.
Oh.
Yeah,
Let's see how quickly people die.
yeah. Moss,
Give
Okay,
me
right.
no cooldown. Let's go.
Moss, kill me, please.
It was lovely playing with you all, but thank you
Yes,
very
you too.
much.
Yeah,
It was nice meeting you, Max.
Take care.
it was good playing, Max. Take care.
Yeah, have a good one, everyone. Don't
Bye-bye.
stab
Bye-bye.
each other too
Bye
hard.
bye bye.
Bye bye.
Who are we
Are we gonna
waiting
get a
on,
new
RAR?
code?
Hello,
I was
Lord.
thrown out. Do we need a new code?
It's the
or-
same
Lords
code,
Oh.
Belvor. So, welcome to the Legion.
Hold on, I have to add another bow to my model, RAR.
Bless you.
Oh my god, that was a cute
I
sneeze.
have
That
to
was a
add
cute
another
sneeze.
bow to my
Bless you.
model, RAR.
Oh, I
Maybe you
can
should
see
put a
you adding
cooldown
the
on
bows
that.
to your model. Here,
No,
let me make it even
RAR!
better.
No, RAR! I have to put 3 more bows. Hold on, RAR.
Yeah.
How do
We
we
have something
have
that-
bows on your model?
wait. 2 more bows, RAR. I'm so sorry.
This
It
is
doesn't matter.
hilarious.
I'm ready.
Everyone
I'm ready.
had a bow.
There's so much happening right now. What am I?
Okay, RAR. I think that's it, RAR. Wait, I
No.
think there's one more. No, I don't
Did
know.
you see Hood redeem it?
Should I ask my chat to go to your
No!
chat?
Yeah, go to the channel
RAR,
and then press
no.
okay.
Okay. No more, RAR. No more. No more, RAR. Okay, starting now.
That's a beautiful look for your model.
Very pretty.
Alright,
Someone
bye,
sent me a
bitches.
screenshot. Rude.
Perhaps.
Alright, RAR. Okay. Weapons, RAR. I wonder who it is this time. RAR? RAR. I'm so good at this game, RAR. RAR. Okay. maybe Moss would have killed me, right? But they didn't. Oopsie. I can't see colors apparently, right? Okay, right.
Oh, even worse.
It has to be Theo, right? There's no
It's
other
Theo.
explanation, right?
I mean, sure, I'd go with that, but it wasn't me.
That's no. Okay, no, it's Theo.
Where
Since
were
I
the
don't know where
bodies?
Fedez's body was, I can only attest that last I saw, because I did see Theo recently, they were down on the south end of the map. Then we broke away. I don't know where Theo went after that.
Oh.
But I went up and found
I was
the
starting
body
to go
in the,
up to the top right.
Yeah, I was in the excavation area of that.
I mean, you could vote me off, but you'd be wrong, and I have a feeling it could be like.
I was
Augustus could
joking
be
when
just
I
as
said
fast.
it was Theo Rar because 2 people are dead, right?
Hey, Moss, who do you think it is, Moss? If it's not you, who do you think it is?
Fucking no. Not Lily. She's not competent enough to go that fast.
Damn.
Excuse me, right?
And I don't think it's
been me.
because
It
she
could've
also
been
wouldn't
me,
go
right?
that fast.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, you're killing me.
I have no idea who this could possibly be.
I'm gonna say it's not. I'm gonna say it's not.
Because Augustus is the only person who I've seen go that fast.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go.
It's true.
I can't. It can't be
Killer, however, Lily can swear that I wasn't over there because me and Lily were on the other side of the map.
Oh yeah, that is true, Rar.
So,
It's been a while. It could have been that the, you know.
I mean, it could also just be Quern.
Are we still on 2?
We're on
imposters?
1 now, Rar.
No, we're on
An
1.
We're
imposter.
on 1, okay.
So I'm skipping, but all right.
Yeah, I'm also gonna skip, but yeah, definitely keep an eye out. Be careful.
I think I'm the imposter, even though I'm not.
So sus.
Yeah, I know you
Oh,
see only
okay.
votes, Rar. That's
Okay,
because
guys.
Mr. Dippity
Roger
went to
that.
ham,
Roger
Rar.
that. I got you.
Alright.
Let's go right, Rar. You didn't do anything, Rar? Really? You didn't do anything? It was a lot harder, easier last time, Rar. I promise. Mr. Bo, Rar, haha, Rar. Ah! I just got a paw on my foot, right? I think we should make a Lily left on Pyro 99 Rar, haha. So many wires to do, Rar. Oh god, Rar.
What's up?
Well, it wasn't Augustus. I think it might be Quern then.
No.
No, it's not.
Quern or Hood?
No.
It wasn't Hood neither.
No,
Well,
Corn
it
was in a room with
wasn't
me.
me.
Yeah, we were
Just
don't-
finished all
No,
my
it definitely
tasks
wasn't
and went to
Theo.
the emergency
Is
meeting
it
thing.
Elfie,
We
Rar?
haven't heard
Is
from
it
his-
Elfie?
Is it Elfie because she's
Elfie,
being
Rar?
quiet?
I'm always quiet. No, I was in electrical doing the wiring thing, and then I.
Okay, I voted for Elfie because by logical necessity, it must be her.
That's rude.
I mean, it could very easily be Theo throwing.
Are you really gonna do the thing again?
I don't know.
know,
This isn't the thing. This isn't the
Someone in my
thing.
chat
You
says
could be
vote
wrong.
Elfie because it's funny, right?
No! I have to
I think it would be very funny if it was Elfie.
We have
I
enough
don't-
people to make it work, but we'd be taking a big risk.
I'm skipping.
Listen, it ain't me.
Okay, right. Okay, here's the
All
thing.
I'm
If it's
saying
Alfie,
is the
it's
only two people
Theo.
who we couldn't account for were Theo and Elfie. In that
People
instance.
skipped. Why do people skip?
I didn't know, right?
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, fine. I'll just walk around with people.
Don't forget to mute. Haha.
Oh, thank you for the sub, Toby. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let's see if I can do this, the task up here. I'm done with my tasks.
So it was Elfie.
So it looked like it was Elfie.
Yeah, it was Elfie. And you know what? That was
Cool, mate.
fair. I died first, and I was like, "Yep."
Damn, that was
Yeah.
good on Elfie, I gotta say.
Thank you. I tried my best.
That was
I
really
trusted
good.
you. Come
I
on.
can't believe I went
With Hood. I was
without-
with Hood, but I thought, you know what? I'm gonna let Hood live so Hood can be like, oh yeah, I was with Elfie and she didn't
That's
kill
a
me.
fucking
so...
smart thing because I was like, then my mind
That's
immediately
very
shifted
smart
to like,
thing to
yeah,
do.
it was probably Lily. I don't know.
I can't believe I went a game.
No,
with-
I was just
It
like,
couldn't have been
being an
me. I was
imposter.
too busy adding bows to my
Yeah, and then
goddamn
Moss was
model.
always with Lily, so I was just searching for Kern.
Oh, I just looked at your model, Lily.
Yeah, she's got a lot of stuff on her.
Wait, I need to see. Wait.
Oh wait. I forgot to.
me-
I forgot to make you
Lily,
guys
I
bigger
think
again.
you might not be able to see out of one of your eyes. Oh no.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
It's
We can fix
fine,
that. We
it's
can fix that. Don't worry about it.
Wait, did you
Yeah, we
just
just need to make
redeem
more.
2 more?
oh, you look
my
lovely.
God. The stream's
You look
ending.
gorgeous.
Why would
Get
you do
3.
that? Wait, can I add one to the? Can I add one to the tail?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Hood, I hate you. Corn.
5 bows.
1.
I love being mod on Lily's
Wait,
channel
wait.
because I
What's
can
going on?
see the fucking betrayal of the chat. The fucking
Oh
betrayal.
my god.
Oh, isn't this
There we
lovely?
go.
How Christmassy.
Always gotta vote Elfie for funsies.
And then
rude.
Elfie, and then it actually was Elfie. Holy sheesh.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
Remember when y'all suspected it was me?
Yeah, because people were dying so quickly. I was like, you were like,
I mean, yeah, I kill quickly, but also.
That was pretty good.
My internet went down. For a
Oh
second.
no.
I don't think you have enough bows on your model.
No! Don't add more!
oh look, you've got more surface area.
Oh yeah, you right.
Yeah, more surface area, just
Wait,
more
let me
bows.
look. Now I'm interested in what's going on.
No, okay, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Another 5.
5 more.
Well, hey, Lily, thanks for inviting me along. I really had fun, and I look forward to getting to do this with you guys again. I'm gonna hop off here and head over to my chat to keep playing. So, thanks for inviting me.
Bye.
Alright,
Thank you
very
very
I
much.
guess
Bye-bye.
bye bye, Augustus.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
guys.
Take care.
I think I'll probably do the same and just head off because I do got something going on in an hour. So
Oh
Yay,
yeah.
and also they just released a new Project Diva song, and it's Gimme Gimme, and it's really good. So you know.
gotcha.
No,
Yeah,
no.
game-
Look at the
Nothing,
Lily
no.
on stream.
Also,
Yeah,
I
games
still have
were-
to finish my drawing. I totally wasn't while being dead, like after I died and finished my test. Totally didn't use that time to continue drawing or anything. No.
Yeah.
On the grind.
On
But
the
yeah, nah.
grind.
I
My time being dead drinking grape Fanta.
oh, I was eating lunch. Yeah.
Everyone should follow everyone in this collab.
Everyone should follow everyone.
Especially me and my Twitch channel.
He doesn't
Uh,
have to.
yeah.
You're stupid.
Yeah, dude.
Can't believe how
Gotcha.
often he's streaming, you guys. It's really.
Yeah, I go to his streams all the
admirable.
time. I'm like the #1 fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate your patronage.
Okay, bye bye.
All right.
Later, everybody.
Bye, bye,
we-
guys.